We got a lot to cover and not a lot of time to do it because I'm going to try and squeeze this all into one video. Because a lot of this has to do, or most of it has to do with WWE. Um, Today and Thursday, starting with the news that most people may not realize or may not be aware of. Between now and Tuesday, on today and Tuesday, WWE will be hosting tryouts for college athletes and I'm assuming other people as well, but focusing on college athletes at the IMG Academy in Bradenton, Florida. So you never know who WWE might find at the tryouts this time around because you don't know exactly what WWE is looking for, but you know that they have their way of finding future stars or somebody worth investing in because they seem to have good luck with those tryouts as far as that's concerned. But also, if you want to look forward to, look back to last night on Raw, it seemed like we were getting some indication that Alexa Bliss might be flipping back to the dark side in the not too distant future, which would not be a bad thing considering the fact that at this point Bianca Belair needs new challengers for the World Women's title. She 100% could use some new challengers for the Raw Women's Championship. So if Alexa Bliss does turn on her, it would not be the worst thing in the world. The one thing that you could say is that it would open up a hole in the women's division, but there's something about Asuka and tag teams that usually lead to Asuka losing her partner. Because Asuka had, Alexa Bliss was not Asuka's first partner, or the first person that or the first person that Asuka won the titles with. Because Asuka also won the belts with, I believe, Charlotte in the past as well. So I do hope that if Alexa Bliss does turn on Bianca, that it's not something we see right out of the gate, and it's something we see in the not too distant future, as opposed to something that happens instantaneously, because the way they made it seem, it was a subtle thing that you had to notice to catch, rather than something that was clear and obvious. So I think it could be building to something, as opposed to something that's going to happen instantaneously. If that makes sense. So that would be something very nice to see, because Alexa deserves the opportunity to be featured on the top of the division, or within the top ranks of the division, and Bianca needs a new challenger. As far as as actually, speaking of Monday Night Raw, next week on Raw, the Usos will defend the tag team titles once again. This time, the Usos will defend the belts against Riddle and Elias. It's gonna be an interesting match. You do gotta say, it will be an interesting match next week, because it is actually. It is actually. I could be wrong, but it is Elias and Riddle's second time teaming together. It is only their second time teaming together. So my question is, if it is only their second time teaming together, why are they getting a tag team title shot? But at the same time, it could be that they're getting a tag team title shot because they want to keep Riddle busy, and the easiest way to keep Riddle busy is to have his partner turn on him. Because they don't know if they're gonna be able to run the story with Randy and Riddle, because they don't know if Randy's gonna be coming back. So they gotta do it with somebody. I just gotta applaud the back and forth that I just had with Kalisto. they want to be able to do it with somebody. So I'm anticipating the fact that Elias is going to turn on Riddle next week. And speaking of, well, actually nobody was speaking of next year, but it's the I got to work on my segues. What can I say? Another bit of news is that Andrade's absence from AEW was also noted because, or explained, because Andrade did post on social media about, once again, that Andrade was in the hospital. This time he explained why, and the reason why is because he sustained a torn pectoral muscle at the end of his last match, at the last time he competed, and he explained that he knows that not everybody does work through it, which was a slight on. I mean, that even your effort is not appreciated. That's what he said. Not that not everybody works through it. Which is true, and that the fact of the matter is not everybody does appreciate his effort and what he does. So what I would say is that I think that was another slight against how much he dislikes working for AEW. Now, I could be wrong, but I think it was another slight against his current employer. But I do hope that if Andrade is recovering from a torn pectoral muscle, which is a bit of a recovery time, or does have a bit of a recovery time, that once Andrade is officially recovered from his torn pectoral muscle, that we see him back in AEW, and that we can move on from this nonsense of him having a difficult time, and that he could either decide to leave and be allowed to go, or that he is given the opportunity to do more in AEW. Basically, once he's healed up, that it's figured out what happens next. That's all I gotta say. Now, I saved the last bit of news for the back half of it, because both these bits of news are stuff we don't really have a lot of information on. And I don't know where we go from here, but what we do know is both bits of news are setting up new matches in WWE, and that it would give us the opportunity to basically talk, wonder and be intrigued by what's going to happen with these new matches. First off is the anticipation for tonight's event for NXT is the Iron Survivor Challenge, which is going to be two of the matches that take place at NXT Deadline on December the 10th, with 5 top contenders colliding in a 25-minute match, which will see whoever is the one with the most pinfalls. Whoever has the most pinfalls throughout the match will be the Iron Survivor and the number 1 contender for either the NXT Women's Championship or the NXT World Title. So both top titles will be given an opportunity to be featured in a prominent position at NXT Deadline and it going into 2023, because you have to figure that the first takeover will take place during Royal Rumble weekend. So we got that going. We'll break down more information on the rules and everything having to do with the Iron Survivor Challenge tomorrow, because the main bit of news that we have today is that the Iron Survivor Challenge participants will be announced tonight on tonight's episode of NXT, as Shawn Michaels has some guests: Mighty Molly, Molly Holly, Alundra Blaze, Road Dogg, and Sean Waltman are going to be guests tonight on NXT, one could assume that that these legends and Hall of Famers will be guests to help announce the participants in the Iron Survivor Challenge. The other bit of news is that at Royal Rumble 2023, we may be getting a new match type or a new gimmick match, likely relating to Bray Wyatt, that being the Pitch Black match. And I, for one, think it's a solid idea, giving Bray Wyatt a match, a better match than the, what was it, whatever spooky stuff that he was doing back in 2020. That that his gimmick match didn't work. So try it again. And I think that's not a bad idea. As far as the Pitch Black match, I have no idea what it could be, but what I do know is I'm intrigued. Just like I am intrigued for the Iron Survivor Challenge, I'm intrigued. Either way, though, these have been my thoughts on the bits of news today. Like I said, we'll talk more about the Iron Survivor Challenge tomorrow when they announce everything for NXT Deadline on December the 10th on tonight's episode of NXT. And with that being said, let me know your thoughts on anything and everything that we talked about, either in this video or stuff you want to bring up down in the comments section. If you like this type of content, feel free to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, because any and all interactions are very much appreciated and help to get us more noticed by the algorithm. So feel free to leave a like, subscribe, or leave a comment, because help us get noticed by the algorithm. But if you don't want to leave a like, but the one thing you should do for your sake is ding dong the notification bell to always know when a new video is up on the channel. It's that bell right next to the subscription box. Always, just ding dong that bell to always know when a new video is up on the channel, because that's the only way YouTube will send you a notification. And until next time, I will see you again soon.